Hopefully you don't mind, we're going to do something a little different here, maybe just run and gun through this problem as we go. I'm going to loop through the United States Department of Agriculture's data set here, looking at their food composition. First things first, though, I would like to search for bananas here. Enter one more terms. Go ahead and press go. We now have the different bananas within this data set. Now I want to go ahead and copy this URL here and paste it just in a plain text editor so I can see it a little bit better. All right, we have a list equals synchronizer token, blah, 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 and ampersand URI, blah, 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 Q lookup banana. That's what I wanted right there. So if I take this back to our list equals Q lookup equals banana. Let's see if this works, if you don't mind. Q lookup banana, it does. So what if I change that to, let's say, lettuce? Oh, we get lettuce back. That is what I love to see. That is what I love to see. So I'm going to jump into Power Query Editor here for a moment. I'm going to do a new query, other sources from web. And we're going to paste this address here, QLOOKUP equals lettuce. Just to go ahead and render this page in our editor. So we now see that the document, if we were to go through the actual HTML, or because this is formatted like a table, set your open caret and your closing caret table, we can go ahead and press OK to look at this in our query editor. All right, so navigation, table, nothing too fancy. NDB number, that should actually be text because there's leading 0, so let's go ahead and delete this change type. And we don't need this column, BFSR, not really telling us anything. So let's do a remove. Text, ABC, ABC, ABC. We're looking good. We are looking good. But what I'd like to do is go to our advanced editor here on the Home tab. Just take a look at this Power Query M language code. So we have Q lookup equals lettuce. Well, instead of lettuce, really what we would like to do is create a UDF, so a user-defined function. This way we could loop through all kinds of different produce. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to do open parenthesis produce name as text. And if we remember, it's returning a table here in our query editor. So as table would be our return type. Our goes to symbol. And then we want to delete this lettuce. We're going to do an ampersand because we're concatenating the string here. Produce name. And let's go ahead and press done. Oh, we now have a function. So produce name. Let's go ahead and try this out here. And let's also call this FN produce table. That's our FN produce table. So our produce name is going to be, let's start with an orange. Why not? Oh, we now have oranges. Let's try apple. Oh, apples. All right, all right. Pepperoni. Let's try that. USDA's got to have some good information. Oh, nothing. They had no pepperoni. They're killing us. Let's try sausage. Oh, fantastic. So we were able to return different tables easily by using our function. Let's go ahead and create a new table though here if you don't mind. So I'm going to do a new query, blank query. And we're going to create a table. So equals hashtag table, just lowercase. Our first argument is our column name. So this is going to be produce type. We're going to do a comma. And then this is going to be our row. So our open squiggly or curly. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know how you say it. But I'm just calling it squiggly. And then our first row is going to be, let's do a lettuce. Close squiggly for our first row. Our second row, because it's text, and close in quotations, tomato. Squiggly again here. Another, well, let's do pepper. Close squiggly, close parenthesis, press enter, bam. ABC 1, 2, 3. And we then have our different produce types. So I'm going to go ahead and indent this here just so you can kind of take a look. I always like visualizing this. I feel like it helped me really kind of within my development of understanding the M language a little bit more. So our first argument within the table is going to be our headers, and then after that is going to be our rows. So those are enclosed within our squigglies here on the second. But kind of taking a look here, ABC123. What if I wanted to define what that data type was? If I was to go back to my text editor here, so I can do a type table. I can do a record here. So because I'm having a space, I'll need to do a hashtag equals text. Let's jump back here, paste that, bam, ABC. So instead of ABC123, I've now defined the data type. So the type of the table for the header called produce type, because I have a space, I need to use my hashtag, my quotations equals text. That's how you can define the data types within your table. So jumping back to this, we're doing add column, invoke custom function, new column. Let's just call it a produce table. Why not? Our function query fn produce table. Produce name is our produce type. Press OK. And just like that, 1, 2, 3. Be able to loop through that here. So I'm going to, let's expand. Why not? Let's press OK, and we now see our lettuce rows, our tomato, and we also have our pepper. Congratulations, you have now looped through an online data set. Welcome to how to iterate web results using Power Query M. All right, stick with me now. We're going to start going down that rabbit hole. If we take a look here in our bottom left, we see 150 rows. Let's take a look back at that web page. So for lettuce alone, we have 227 foods found. Well, that seems a little strange. We should have more than 150 records back in our Power Query. Something is going on. If we remember our web address, we were just looking at that Q lookup here. So if we were to type that in, Q lookup equals lettuce, that just takes us to the front page. Let's take a look at page number 2. All right, so we still have our Q lookup equals lettuce, but we now have this offset 50 in order ascending. All right, let's click on page 3. Offset 100. Page 4, what do you think? 50 plus 50 is 100. 100 plus 50 equals 150. You got it. Page 5, 200. So we need to start adding 50 to each page that we're looking at. So offset equals 0, order equals ascending. Going to our notepad here once again. So we're going to start at the beginning here with our Q lookup equals lettuce. We're going to concatenate. So our ampersand, offset equals 0, ampersand order equals ascending. So let's go ahead and try this abbreviated here. All right, looking good, looking good. So we change this to 50, page 2, change it to 100 now, page 3. All right, I think we've got a pretty good pattern here going on. I'm going to go ahead and do a new query, other sources from web. And we're going to use this offset, and you know what? Let's go and start at 100. Why not? Go ahead and press OK. And we are loading the website. This time we do not want the table. We want the actual document. We're going to need to go through the web page. All right, so we now have HTML and then our children table, head and body. With web pages, about 99.9% of the time you will be looking at the body. So I'm going to go ahead and right click down here just in Google Chrome, and I'm going to do inspect on the document. So we have our head, we have our body, which is now what we're looking at on the web page. And then the actual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite a ways down here. So we have div class head wrapper, div class body wrapper. So let's go back here. We have head body. Let's go to body. We have our first and our second. And looking back at our HTML in the branch here, we have this second with the downward arrow. So we want to click into the second div. Fantastic. We now have div null and script. Let's go back here. So we have div, yep. div, and then script. So on this one, we're going to click into the second div. Back in our document, div. We now have a form. Taking a look back here again. Form. We're going to click there. So downward, downward. Go back there. Table, form. All right, input, 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 div, style, script. All right, where do we want to look at on this one now? So form, we have our inputs. Input, input, div, style, script. And then the next div right after our script here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. 227 foods found. That is not the one that we want. But if we were to take a look here once again, right there, our div class, 227 foods found. So the one right beneath it. Awesome. Clicking through. Children 4, item number 10. And taking a look at the children. Text 1, so page 1. Text 2, page 2. 3, 4, 5. Then our next. Taking a look back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next. Awesome. So we're now down in the correct section of our document. Let's go ahead and do a remove other columns. I'm going to go ahead and expand this now. And all I want is that text column. Oh, fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next. Null. Well, we want numbers. So 1 times 50 equals 50. 2 times 50 equals 100. So let's go ahead and convert this change type, and we're going to change this to a whole number. Oh, fantastic. I love seeing the errors. We're going to right click, remove errors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and convert this table now to a list. We're going to press the add step function right here, and we're going to do a table period column, or table name, which is going to be a reference from our previous step, is going to be removed errors, comma, and then the column name itself, which we just have called text, TXT. Case sensitive. Press enter. Awesome. We now have a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want to go through this list and get the maximum value. So list period max, capital M, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, hit enter. Oh, fantastic. We now have 5. But we need to go back to our web page and talk about it a little bit. So on page 1, our offset value is 0. So we're starting with the 0 index. So 0, 50. So 50 times 0 equals 0. 50 times 2, which is our index position of 1. Index position 2 for 3. Index position 3 for 4. And 4 for 5. So right up here, 200. So 4 times 50, 200. We need to go back here and make sure within this list.max that we do a -1 at the very end. So we want to do 4. I'm going to go ahead and title this just FN page number. And you guessed it, we're going to our advanced editor now. At the very beginning here, we're going to create some parameters now. So this is going to be our produce type, adds text. And then we want to return a number. So our return value is as number. Our goes to symbol, which is our equals, and then our greater than sign. So let's go ahead and remove this lettuce. Now we do our concatenate, so our ampersand, and then our produce type. Press done. Oh, a new function, that FX. That's what I love to see. So let's type in produce type orange. 39 pages of orange, starting from a 0 index. Let's do apple. There's got to be a lot for apple. 68 pages. Wow. All right, that gives us something to think about here. So let's go ahead and delete these. All right, jumping back to query 1 with the 150 rows that we remembered before. Let's go ahead and remove these previous steps. Invoke custom function, and we're going to do a delete until end. Fantastic. Now we want to invoke the custom function with a page number, so let's do that now. We're just going to call this one total pages function query page number, passing through that parameter in the column produce type. Total pages 480, 58. That's what we love to see. Let's do a custom column now, and we're going to do page number Do a squiggly or curly. We're going to do zero-based index, if you remember, period, period. Total pages, close squiggly, press OK. We now should have a list of numbers of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 different pages, if you remember, for our lettuce. We're going to do expand to new rows. Oh, fantastic. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 through 80 right there. Now we would like to do custom column. We're going to do offset, custom column formula. It's going to be our page number times 50. Remember, it has a maximum return value of 50 items per page. Go ahead and press OK. We now have our offset 0, 50, 150, 200. If you remember, that offset for lettuce went up to 200. We're going to go ahead and select produce type, offset, right click, remove other columns. Looking good. But now what do I do with the offset? You guessed it. We got to go back to our produce table, create a whole new parameter. All right, produce name as text. We're going to call it page offset as number. 0 obviously is a number, 50 is a number. All right, we have our produce name now. Let's go ahead and take a look back at our URL. If you remember, massive string, it's so huge. And then really all we're looking for is this offset equals 0 and order equals ascending. Jumping back to our function. Just go ahead and paste this down here in the white space. Ampersand offset equals 0. So we have our produce name. Do another concatenate. Equals ampersand offset equals ampersand page offset ampersand quotation ampersand order equals ascending quotation. Oh, that's looking beautiful. Let's go ahead and press that. Let's do done. If you don't mind, let's test this out here. So we're going to do orange. Our page offset is going to be 50. Press invoke. No! What happened? An error occurred. We cannot apply an operator ampersand to types text and number. All right. So the number 50 needs to actually be text. We need to convert that to a string. Going back to our FN produce, back to that advanced editor, we see our page offset. I need to convert this now. So within Power Query, there is a from and there is a to. So in this, we would like to do a text period from. So from the value or from number, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, text period from page offset. Now I'll press done. Let's try this again. Oh, just like that, invoke function. Oh, 50 rows, 3 columns for our oranges. So if I was to try that again, let's do lettuce. Let's do our page offset of 200. Oh, fantastic. The last 27 items. So going back to query 1 now, we're going to do another add column, invoke custom function. This is going to be, let's just call it table rows. Why not? That sounds good. That sounds good. So FN produce table. Our produce name is our produce type, and our page offset, we're going to use the column name. We're going to use the column name offset. Press OK. Oh man, here it goes. It's going out to each web page and loading the results for us. Hey, there you are. Nice to see you again. So let's go to our table rows, and we can see that we now have our different columns: NDB, number, description, manufacturer of foods, goods. So I'm going to go and right click this, remove other columns. We're now going to do our expand, press OK, and there you have it. Over 144 tables that we looped through, grabbed all of the data from all of the offsetting pages, and appended here in our single table. Congratulations if you made it to the end of this. This is one heck of a journey into looping through web pages.